was first moved from the warehouse, I was proud to be on display in the crisp bar of the shop. But after a couple of weeks, I started to feel anxious. I was restless because some of my friends had gone and I wanted an adventure too. Then, finally, a grubby little hand moved closer and closer to me, grabbed me and took me to the counter. It was a little girl. Her hands were all muddy from playing football. Outside the shop, I breathed in the lovely fresh air. Suddenly, she rudely opened me and stuck her hand inside, pulling all the crisps out of me. I was speechless. When I was empty, she chucked me on the floor. I screamed as loud as I could, but she just walked away. It was heartbreaking to be left there all alone. Why did she leave me? The wind took hold of me and swirled me around. It carried me over the park and I saw children playing on the slides and swings below. I saw water beneath me. I was heading straight for it. I landed in the water and felt myself sinking to an icy depth. I felt life draining out of me. Then my eyes began to open and I was lifted by a fish. A shoal of silvery fish swam round me. They explained they were minnows and that I was in the River Tor, heading for the sea. The current pulled me back to the surface, but birds started to peck at me. Once they knew I wasn't a fish, they introduced themselves. The lapwing and the duck told me to watch out for the seagulls. I floated in the cold current until the tide turned and I became stuck in the mud on the riverbank. I was beached. I saw a big white shape coming out of the clouds. It came closer and closer, and I realised that it was a beastly seagull. Remembering the lapwing's warning, I was terrified. I shivered and my heart raced as fast as a car. It grabbed me and soared through the air. I thought I was done for. As it climbed higher, another seagull, then another came into attack. Soon feathers were flying everywhere, and the sound of high-pitched squeals was deafening. The seagulls became far more interested in fighting, and I was dropped. With a sigh of relief, I floated back down the water. As I bobbed along the river, I saw something mysterious being lowered into the water. I went in for a closer look and got caught on a shiny hook. I was reeled up to the surface and was delighted to see a man who was bringing me back to shore. Was I finally going back to the factory to get new crisps? I watched as the face turned to anger and I was flung back into the water in a rage. I sighed. When was I ever going to get back to land? I floated along the river until I came to Crow Point, where the water churned and I heard the sound of waves crashing up ahead. There was lots of other bits of plastic bubbling about. Below the surface, I saw strange creatures I have never seen before. I was swept further and further out to sea. Night passed, and as the sun rose, I heard a clicking sound. I couldn't resist turning to see what it was. To my amazement, I saw a tremendous beast with a huge mouth and a tiny eye, swimming above me. He must have thought I was a fish. I tried to get away, but he was too big and too quick, and he swallowed me whole. It went dark, and it stank horribly of rotten fish. The inside of the whale's mouth was slimy, and its throat opened into a huge tummy. I made friends with some fish and a squid, but soon they disappeared down into the whale's colossal body. I was left only with the whale's moans to keep me company. I felt lonely.
and I wish those people hadn't thrown me away. Fish came and went, but gradually some new friends came and stayed with me at the bottom of the stomach. There were plastic bottles, bags, straws, food wrappers, and even an old toothbrush. I was delighted to finally have some friends.
I felt like I had been in there for a long time. More and more plastic arrived and it felt so crowded. Why did people throw so much away? One day the whale stopped moving. Was he sleeping? I wonder what will happen to me.
We know this is just a story, but this is actually what happens when plastic ends up in the sea. Lots of sea creatures, not just whales, are hurt and killed by our waste. Plastic is useful, but is not good for the environment. Please reduce, reuse and recycle your plastic and help save our oceans. Year 2, Pilton Infants School, 2019.